Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start with our stretching. We're just going to take a couple of deep breaths in. So today, some of the exercises, I am going to use a chair. It's a folding chair. You can do the same exercises standing or on the floor. The chair just is going to help elevate you, and it'll be a little bit more comfortable for a lot of people. So just a regular folding chair or, kitchen chair, just have it somewhere that it's not going to move. So we're going to do like a foot elevated lunge. We're going to do a heel sit, but you can do those same exercises standing or on the floor. And one more. All right, let's start with our open and close. And we're going to do a little bit of standing today, or a decent amount of standing today, a little bit on the floor as well. And then we're going to use our bands at the end. We should have time to do our shoulder dislocates and our band pull aparts. And then we're also going to do some shoulder rotations using a very, very, very light dumbbell to start with. All right, bring it into the center, cross body rotation, nice good reach. So just start to wake up and stretch out the back. Good. 4, 3, 2, reach it up and overhead now, adding in a little bit of a side bend, a little bit of a wave. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it into the center. Arms out to the side, thumbs pointing towards the ceiling, palms facing forwards. Just nice, good shoulder circles. They can be small. Good, and change direction. Let's bring the arms down, and we're going to do our side bends. You can add a reach, but our hips are not going to move. So we're really thinking about lifting the ribs, dropping the hips. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it into the center, feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards. Think about having your weight evenly distributed across both feet. And we're just going to do good hip circles. And let's change direction. Two and 1. Let's bring it back in, and we're going to take our feet into a little bit of duck foot. So still keeping those feet about hip width apart. Just a nice, good, wider open foot position. And let's change direction. Good. 2 and 1, and bring it into the center. And now we're going to do a little bit of a pigeon toe, really moving from your hips versus from your knees. So instead of doing knees down, do hip down. Good. Change direction. Bring it into the center. Just shake it out a little bit. Hold on to something if you need to. We're going to start with our hip swings forwards and backwards, and it's okay if your hip swing is down here. If it's little, the whole point is just to start to loosen up that hip joint and just get it moving. And then we progressively work our way to getting it a little bit higher. Here's 2 and 1, switching to the other leg, same thing. Just make sure you know what's in front of and behind you. So you don't want to kick anything. And we're keeping our upper body nice and steady, so there's not a lot of pelvic movement. Might look like there is, but there really isn't. It's all just your leg. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to do our side leg swings. I always say this, I like to hold on to something. I like hand on a wall, but hand on a chair is fine. Have room to swing side and then a little cross in front. And it doesn't have to be this big swing. If you can make it bigger. This is always personal preference. I'm trying to go for full range of motion here. At 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in, reset. If you need to, I have to move away from my exercise equipment over here, but same thing, just kind of swing it out and in. So you are going to use some muscle here, but it's really just trying to get a good swing in. And I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. And I don't know if I kind of jolted myself or if I was sleeping in a bad position, but my hip hurts. So I'm trying to be nice today. I can feel a little zing all the way down to a couple of my little toes. At 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in, shake it out. So while we're doing this warm-up, as we're going to do our double side lunges. So remember, while we're doing this warm-up, this is our chance to do an assessment and see how we're feeling. So I noticed this hip is not like really hurting, but my SI joint is irritated, so I'm getting a little pinching going on today. So it just means I'm going to be really gentle when I move through some of my hip stretches and some of these movements. And then it'll also be good because then I can reassess at the end of class and see how I feel, because hopefully I will feel better when class is over. So hopefully that joint will feel a little bit looser, the pain will be a little bit less. I can tell that it's warmer outside today because I already feel a lot looser than I did yesterday. Good. Bring it into the center. Keep the wide stance, legs are straight. We're hinging from our pelvis. We're going to reach forwards, center, and then reach it back. So forward, center, reach it back. If you can touch the floor, great. If you can't, it's okay. This is hamstrings. This is back of the leg, so we want to keep the neutral spine. We want to try not to round at our back or bend our knees. So if we're here just doing this, just to get to the floor, we're not going to get the stretches that we want, and we're going to be really rounded. We want to try to open up, tall chest, forward, center, and back. And maybe that means that you're not getting all the way to the floor. Good, let's do that one more time. Forward, center, back. Carefully bring it all the way up, arms out to the side. Side lunge, little rotation. We're going to try to touch our hand towards our ankle. Maybe you're just taking your hand and trying to touch your knee. Start with the small movements. Work your way up to the big ones. So we're adding in that little bit of a side lunge in addition to the rotation. Now, if you have to be here with straight legs, that's okay too. Good, couple more. Here's 2 and 1. And we're going to go into our plank. We're going to do a down dog to a plank. Now you can do this in an incline. Use a chair or even a countertop or a wall. Take it down, down dog, and then just back to a plank position. Down dog, plank position. Hips lift. You're using your hands and your shoulders to bring your ears between your elbows. Good. Now here's an option, make it a little harder. You're going to add in a toe reach. So down dog, stabilize, try to touch your thigh, try to touch your knee. Good, 2 more. 2 and 1. Let's go ahead and bring it back up to standing if you're on the floor. Roll the shoulders, give yourself a minute, walk around, grab a quick drink of water. And then we're going to start with some toes, some toe drills and some ankle drills, and then we're going to grab a chair. So for this one, we're going to start just feet hip width apart and work on our toes. And then there's a section where if you can have your buns against a wall, great. If you can't, you're okay. But we're going to start with just our toe lifts. So we're going to plant our feet, soft knees, and I want you to just lift your toes. And it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing and set it down, but I'm lifting just my toes. So I'm not doing a full foot lift. We're just going to do a lift and a lower. So lift and lower. Now we're going to lift it. We're going to lift our toes. We're going to spread our toes as far apart as we can, and then we're going to try to put them down one toe at a time, pinky toe to big toe. Good. Lift the toes, spread, and then set them down one toe at a time, pinky toe to big toe. They're not necessarily going to go one toe at a time. I can usually get the pinky and then the three in the middle together and then my big toe. Good. Lift, spread, set it down, pinky toe to big toe. Good. One more time. Lift, spread, pinky toe to big toe. All right. Now we're going to keep our feet planted, and I want you to try to lift just, whoop. Yeah, see how much your big toe affects your balance? So you're going to try to lift just your big toes. So just your big toe on each foot. Then set the big toe down. Can you lift just your other 8 toes? So you kind of press the big toe into the ground and then lift the other ones. Good. Switch. So you're going to lift just the big toes, and then you're going to lift just the 8 little ones. Just the big toes, just the 8 little ones. Good. One more time. Just the big toes, and then just the little ones. Bring it in. We're going to shake it out a little bit. We're going to hold on to something if we need to, just for a little support, and we're going to lift up onto our toes and hold it, and then we're going to set it down. Lift up onto your toes and set it down. Lift up and set it down. And it's kind of hard to tell, but you really want to make sure that you're rolling through the ball of the foot and the big toe and come down. And I know sometimes I start to roll out to my pinky toe. We really want to try not to. So really think, lift, hold, and then down. Lift, hold. And I have a mirror right here, and I actually like to look at that mirror because you can see things. Good. I'm going to do one more so you can kind of see when, you roll out. So if you can't feel it, maybe you can see it. Good. Now we're going to take it back. I'm just leaning against the wall. My legs are straight, and I'm going to lift my foot so that I'm kind of balanced on my heels, and then set it down. So the challenge for this is knees are straight, so we're not rocking to lift our toes. So just lift your toes and then down, or just think you're trying to, if you want to balance on your heels or walk on your heels. So the whole rest of your foot lifts up. This is similar to when we do our toe lifts at the beginning of class when we warm up. But now we're really focusing on strengthening the shins on the fronts of your legs. And this is a good one. You can do this anywhere that has a wall, which is kind of the great thing. And this is a good one to make sure that you are able to land heel, ball, toe, because when we walk heel, ball, toe, and push off, and then repeat. And somebody described walking as just repeatedly falling and catching yourself, and they're not wrong. Good. Let's go ahead and bring it in, kind of shake it out. Grab your chair. And again, if you don't want to use a chair, you don't have to, because we're going to have our foot elevated on the chair. So sometimes it's helpful to have this against a wall or to have your hand here for support. And we're going to take our foot here, and how far back your other foot goes is completely up to you. And your back heel can be lifted, but we're going to do the tuck and the squeeze, and we're going to push forwards, and we're going to come back. So again, if you don't have a chair or this is kind of challenging for you, you can do this with this foot on the floor, Same thing, you'll just be in a lunge position, or you can do this in a half kneeling position if you really want to. But this one is a little bit easier on the knees, and it's just a nice good stretch. So I've got my back heel lifted, I'm working on my hip. Good, now we're going to take it and we're going to hold it. So we're just going to try to get a nice good stretch right here. And it looks kind of like I'm arching my back, and I'm really not. I'm keeping my tuck and my squeeze, and I'm pushing my hip forwards. Good, now let's press it back, and we're going to take the back heel and we're going to have it down on the floor. And the goal is to keep the back heel on the floor. And again, now we're going to do that little forward and back push. So you should be feeling the stretch in your calf now instead of in your hip. And if you're like, I can't keep my heel down, you just very carefully bring your foot forwards until you can keep your heel down. And again, this foot can be on the floor. There's nothing that says that you have to be on the chair. Good. Now we're going to add in, your back heel can lift up if it needs to, but we're going to press the knee forwards, and now we're going to shift our weight back, and we're going to straighten our front knee. So we're going to go forwards, and then we're going to straighten. So we're doing little knee mobility here, and now we're getting our hamstrings. So forward, and then back. And if you're not using the chair, you're just going to kind of do a little push forwards, heel stays down, and then you're going to reach for your toe. So it's just a little different if you're on the floor, but always an option. Good, forward and back. Good, one more time. Forward and back. Now we're going to take our leg, we're going to be sideways to the chair, and we're going to have our shin on the chair, and notice my foot is hanging off of the chair. So my foot is hanging off the chair. It's not being pointed. It's just kind of hanging there. And this is where we're going to very carefully try to sit our hip to our heel, okay? This is going to stretch the front of your knee and check your knee mobility. So if you need to, you can absolutely have your hands on the seat of the chair to kind of help support you if you can't get your hip to your heel. And it's perfectly okay if you can't. So we're kind of working on that knee. And bring it up. And now we are going to shift it so that our toe is pointed, and we're trying to stretch out the front of the leg. And I'm just going to work on the stretch. If you want to add a little bit of a sit, you can. It's personal preference. But for a lot of us, just trying to get that foot pointed and resting on the chair is going to be enough of a stretch. So you don't have to worry about the sit. That's why I say it's always modify this workout to what fits your body and your needs. Good. Let's go ahead and bring it up. We're going to take that foot off very carefully, shake it out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take that foot up. My foot is going to be a little bit farther back here. I have my heel lifted. This is a little balance challenge if it is. And again, we're going to do just a forward and back push. So we're focusing on stretching the hip right here. So like I said, it looks like I'm arching my back, and I'm really trying not to. I'm squeezing my glute, keeping my pelvis tucked under my ribs. And if you're really tight, your foot might be really close to the chair, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're feeling that stretch and you feel secure, then you're good. Good, let's take it forward, and now we're just going to hold it. So a little bit of a stretch, and the way that I have this is my knee is pushing over towards my toes, but I'm not feeling a crazy stretch in that top calf. And 3, 2, 1, let's take it back, and then we're going to try to keep the back heel down. And we're going to do the same thing where we're going to push forward and back, but the heel stays glued to the floor. So now we've turned this into a calf stretch. Again, if you're really tight, step it forwards and then just do your forward and back. So even right here, it's kind of weird how my ankles work some days. Right now I'm still feeling a really good hip stretch. I'm not feeling this in my calf as much. So I'm going to step it back just a little bit. Good. Now we're just going to kind of let that relax. I'm going to step in a little bit. We're going to take that knee forwards, and then we're going to shift our weight, and we're going to try to straighten the knee as we go back. So forward, and then straighten. Good, just a couple more. All right, we're going to take that foot off, and again, we're going to come to the side, or to the front, I should say. We're going to have that knee down to your ankle resting on the chair. Your foot is actually nice and loose off the end, and we're just going to take it back, and we're going to sit. And you can do a sit and then a stand if you need to, but I'm just going to try for a good sit. And I will say this chair is not as cushy as I would like for this particular exercise, so keep that in mind if it's not comfortable. All right, let's go ahead and bring it up, and now I'm going to step it forward a little bit. So now I do have the top of my foot resting. And again, sometimes just you don't have to sit back. I feel a really good stretch on the front of my leg here. If you want to sit back a little bit farther, you can. If you need to go part way and you got to hold yourself up, that's okay. We're just trying to stretch out the front of that leg a little bit. Good. Release, bring it up, shake it out, give yourself a little bit of space. You can use this one. We're not really using the chair. This one's just kind of a target. We're just going to think about shoulders down and back. We're going to do our little hip hinge. So we're just going to hinge like you're trying to reach for the chair and then stand up again. So this is just an itty bitty deadlift, and I really want you to focus on technique versus how far can we go? How much weight can we lift? I just really want you to think hinge the hips back. Bring it up nice and tall. So pelvis goes back, no change in position for your upper body. Shoulders down and back, ribs tucked. Good. Now we're going to shift our weight into one leg. So what I like to do is hinge it forwards, barely touch. You can have your hands here if you need to, but you're just going to lift that other leg off the floor and let it hover. And then we're going to take our hands up off of the chair and we're just going to hold. Good. In 3, 2, 1. Bring it back up. Reset your feet. We're going to do the other leg. So again, hinge it forwards. Hand can be touching the chair if you need. We're going to shift our weight a little bit into that leg. And now we're going to lift that back leg up. And we're just going to take our hands off, hover. So it's not super high. We don't have to get that leg really up there. I just want you to load your glute. Bring it in. Good. Let's stand up. And now we're officially going to shake it out. Get rid of the chair. Move it out of the way. So we're going to do a little bit of shoulders here. So sitting if you need to, we're just going to reach back and we're going to swing forwards. So palms facing in, slicing or chopping motions. Same thing, we're being really cautious with our upper body and we're not letting ourselves round, and it's not, elbows soft. Try to think nice straight arms, so all movement comes from the shoulders. And it's okay if your movement is here. Good. 2 and 1. Bring it down, shoulders down, flex your wrists. Yes, we're going to do our flossing. So we're just going to really think about shoulders down and back. Straight elbows, flex the wrists. You've got to keep them flexed. Relax, change direction. Nice, good forward circles. Again, elbows are straight, wrists are flexed. Bring it in, shake it out a little bit. We're going to take it out to the side. Open up out to the side, elbows straight, flex your wrists. Nice, good circles. So we're washing the walls. Good, and then change direction. Bring it down, just kind of shake it out a little bit. Now we're going to go back through our open and close, and this time, if you can, kind of give yourself a nice good pat on the back. So big open, squeeze it, and then bring it forwards. Try to keep the arms parallel to the floor. A lot of times we start to kind of drop them down. Try to keep them parallel to the floor. Just 2 and 1. Bring it in. A little bit of a shake out. So if you've got something to hold on to, you can, but you don't have to. We're going to do our teacup drills. Okay, this is some shoulder rotation, but I want you to imagine that you're holding a teacup and you don't want to spill. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have our teacup. We're going to turn our teacup in towards our tummies, and then we're going to try to turn it facing the other way. And now we're going to bring it up and around our head, and then we're going to come back around again. Now I spill my tea every time. Good. So we're going to try to turn it in and then bring it up and over, and you can see, I can even see I'm leaning. Good. So turn the teacup in, take it around, bring it up and around and down. We're going to do one more this direction on this side. So teacup, bring it in, up, around, and down. Good. So now we got to go the other direction. So we're going to open it out to the side, bring it up, server has the tray, around, and then back in. So this one's tricky. So out, up, over the head, and then we have to kind of do this little internal rotation here and circle. And this is my goofy shoulder, so I'm really struggling with this one on this side. Up and around, bring it in and down. Good, one more time. So out, start to circle it around behind your head, up and around and in. Good, kind of shake it out. So now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So relax shoulders. We're going to turn our teacup in towards our tummies. We're going to take it out, and then we're going to start to circle it up and around behind our head and then back in. So turn it in towards your tummy, turn it away from you, start to circle it up and around and back in. So this is one, if you spill your tea, it's okay. You can kind of see I'm spilling my tea. Like, get about halfway through. It's like, yep, tea's gone. Good, but you want to try to hold that tea cup, bring it around and in. Good, now we're going to go the other direction. So tea goes out. We're going to lift it up behind our head, and then we start to circle it around, back around to the front. So out, up, around, circle, and in. Out, back, around, around to the front, and circle. One more time. Out, around, circle it in, and down. Good. Shake it out. We're just going to roll the shoulders. All right, so your option one, if you have a wall, is to do this with this palm against the wall like this. If that doesn't work for you, take your hand, keep your fingers straight, and do a nice good stretch. But we're just going to try to take our hand, so think palm up, pinkies touch the wall, or fingertips touch the wall, and now I want you to try to press the entire palm of your hand flat on that wall. If you're really tight, start lower. If you're more flexible, you can start higher, but you can see my elbow is straight, so I'm not here, and I'm not squishing, right? So start with your fingers low, and then start to press your hand into the wall, and we're just gonna hold. So this is just a little hold stretch right here. Good, 3, 2, 1, release and shake it out. Same thing on the other side. So shoulder down, fingertips touch the wall, and then we just roll to start to get the heel to touch the wall as well. Start lower and then take it up as you feel more comfortable. So always start low. Remember, shoulder is down, elbow is straight here. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now we're going to do this sideways to the wall. So we're going to start arm to the wall, fingertips touching, and now we're going to try to press the hand into the wall. So if I'm here, I just start with my fingertips touching the wall, and now I'm trying to press my palm on the wall. And if you're really, really tight, you might have to turn your body towards the wall until you can find a comfortable position, because some of us, like I am really tight, so turning my body so that I'm perfectly straight, I really get some zinging, so sometimes I have to turn just a little bit. Good, and relax. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, so stand sideways to the wall, fingertips touch, and then we just roll to try to get the entire palm to touch. And again, this is one where I definitely feel that tension and tightness. I'm tight in my chest and in my bicep, so I'm not getting a good stretch. I mean, I'm getting a good stretch, but I'm not all the way back. So I just turn my body a little bit towards the opposite shoulder, turn it towards the wall, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit less discomfort. And then relax and bring it into the center. Circle those wrists, kind of shake it out a little bit if you're feeling it. We're going to take shoulders down and back, and we're going to do our head tilt. Hold it here. And if that feels okay, we're going to nod our head yes. And then we're going to relax, keep the tilt, and we're going to shake our heads no. Bring the head up, relax, shoulders down and back, ear to shoulder, hold it. And if that feels okay, nod your head yes. And then relax, and if that feels okay, shake your head no. And relax, bring it up into the center. If you've got a band, grab your band. We're going to do our shoulder dislocates and our band pulls. And it can be a therapy band, it can be a regular band. Just remember, the wider you have your hands, the easier this is. So start with your hands as wide as you can. We just don't want to necessarily have them just hanging. I want you to think arms out. So as wide as you can, shoulders kind of relaxed, straight arms. We're going to take it up, try to go all the way around, and then we circle it around to bring our thumbs together. Finish the circle. Open the thumbs out, up, and around, and then same thing, we want to finish the circle, thumbs pointing to the sides. So up and around, complete the circle in front, open out to the side, up, around. Try to think about completing your circle. If you are really, really struggling with this one, You can just do the circles without a band. So you can just do like against the wall, you can just do your circle up and around and then come back around. Because that way you can do one arm only. And then you can, so if you've got, one arm that's a little goofy, then you can just focus on doing one arm and find the range of motion that works for each shoulder. So I know this one is really tricky for a lot of people. So up, back, and around. Or just find that, go back as far as you can. Go back as far as you can. So maybe you have to stop here, and that's okay. I struggled with these for a really long time. I still kind of struggle with them a little bit. And if you're finding these are pretty easy, you're like, yep, I got this. Then you start to bring your hands in closer together. So we start wide, and then when we are more comfortable and that shoulder joint is loosened up, then we can start to bring the arms in a little bit farther or a little bit closer together. This is one I really have to watch, because if I see my reflection, I can see my right arm is fine, but my left arm is kind of struggling. Good, this is our last one here. All right, bring it in. A little bit of a shakeout. We're going to do our band pull aparts. This is another one. The wider your hands are to start, the easier this is going to be. And I want you to do palms facing up, because a lot of times we're here and we shrug in. So I want shoulders down, and I want you to try to open up, palms facing up, right arm 10 times right here. So we're going to keep those arms parallel to the floor. I lock in my left arm. 7, 8, 9, 10. You can give yourself a little bit of a shakeout. Wiggle, shoulders down, arms out. Right arm is locked into place, left hand. Try to keep that palm facing the ceiling, torso facing forwards. Good. 3, 2, 1. Bring it in, take it down. Again, a little bit of a shakeout. Shoulders down, reset. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to take it all the way back. So we're going to do 10. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. A little bit of a shakeout here. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle those shoulders. So roll the shoulders up, back, and down into your back pocket. And let's do thumb to index, middle, ring, and pinky right here. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring it in. Take a couple nice deep breaths in and out. One more time, big breath in and out. And you are all done.